I swear to God, people need to relax. Like, seriously, everyone needs to take about 15 steps back and get some perspective here, because the overreaction has been absolutely insane. It was just truth or dare, just a game, a party game that adults play when they're having fun and being social and not taking life so seriously. That's it. That's all it was. I didn't cheat. I need that to be the first thing everyone understands. I did not cheat on my husband. Cheating is when you sneak around behind someone's back, when you have secret meetings, when you lie and hide and betray trust intentionally and maliciously. What happened was a dare, in a game, that everyone was playing, that everyone agreed to, including him. He was sitting right there when we started playing. He didn't object. He didn't say, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't play this game." He participated. He was part of it. Everyone was drinking. Everyone. The whole room was tipsy at minimum, properly drunk at maximum. The wine was flowing. The beer was cold. The atmosphere was loose and fun and relaxed. No one was supposed to take anything that happened that night seriously. That's the whole point of those kinds of parties. You let loose. You do silly things. You laugh about them later. Nobody takes party games as binding contracts or relationship violations. My husband got mad over one kiss, literally one single kiss, one moment in an entire evening of fun and laughter and socializing. One dare in a whole game full of dares that everyone was doing. Other people did embarrassing stuff too. Other people kissed people they weren't married to. Other people did way worse dares than what I did. But somehow, I'm the only one being crucified for it. His best friend didn't even kiss me back that much. People keep acting like it was this passionate, mutual, intimate moment. It wasn't. It was a dare. He was just going along with the game the same way I was. He wasn't into it. I wasn't into it. It was just two people completing a challenge, because that's what you do when you're playing truth or dare. You complete the dare. That's the game. I fold my arms just thinking about it, feeling that familiar surge of annoyance and frustration at how completely unreasonable everyone has been about this whole situation. If he can't handle a harmless dare, that's his insecurity. Not my problem, his fragile ego, his inability to separate a silly party game from real life, his paranoia and jealousy and possessiveness. That's all on him. I'm not responsible for managing his emotional weaknesses. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit hype to boost this episode. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from. But of course, nobody wants to hear my side. Nobody wants to acknowledge that I was just participating in a game that he was also playing. Nobody wants to talk about how he could have said something before the dare happened, could have established boundaries beforehand, could have communicated like an adult. No, everyone just wants to paint me as the villain and him as the poor wounded husband. Fine. Let me tell you what actually happened that night. All of it. The whole story from beginning to end. And then you can decide for yourself who the real victim is here. We're at our house having this casual get-together with friends. Nothing fancy, just people hanging out, drinking, listening to music, that standard weekend party vibe. Maybe 10 or 12 people total. His best friend Marcus is there, some of our other couple friends, a few people from work, good people, fun people, the kind of crowd where you can actually relax and be yourself. Someone suggests truth or dare around midnight after everyone's had plenty to drink. And honestly, it sounded fun. We hadn't played party games in years. It felt young and spontaneous and exciting. Everyone agreed immediately, got into a circle in the living room, started the game. The first few rounds are tame. Someone has to text their ex. Someone has to do a silly dance. Someone has to confess an embarrassing secret. Everyone's laughing. The energy is good. It's exactly the kind of light-hearted fun I wanted from the evening. Then it's my turn, and someone asks, "Truth or dare?" I pick dare because I like attention, because truth is boring, because I'm feeling confident and fun, and I want to participate fully in the game. That's not a crime. That's not evidence of bad character. That's just being engaged and social. Marcus, my husband's best friend, grins at me. He's had a few drinks too. Everyone has. And he says with this playful energy, "I dare you to kiss me. Full one, not a peck." The room immediately erupts. People gasp, people laugh, people say, "Oh," like this is the most scandalous thing they've ever heard. The energy shifts. Everyone's looking at me, then at my husband, then back at me. I look at my husband, expecting him to immediately shut it down, to say, "Absolutely not," or "pick a different dare," or something. But he doesn't. He just sits there with this weird little smirk on his face, like he thinks I won't do it, like he's testing me, like this is some kind of challenge to see if I'll back down. And I don't like being told what I can't do. I don't like people assuming I'm too scared or too timid to follow through. So I think, fine. It's a game. It's a dare. Everyone agreed to play, and if my husband isn't objecting, then clearly it's fine. So I do it. I lean over to Marcus and I kiss him. Not a peck, because that would be cheating the dare. A real kiss, a proper kiss that fulfills the requirements of what I was dared to do. And okay, maybe it lasts a little longer than it strictly needed to. Maybe 10 seconds instead of 2. Maybe I commit to it more than I had to. But I was drunk, and I was in the moment, and I wanted to prove I wasn't scared, and everyone was watching, and the attention felt good. When I pull away, the room is completely silent. That fun energy from seconds ago is just gone, evaporated, replaced by this thick tension you could cut with a knife. I laugh, trying to break the tension, trying to bring back the fun atmosphere. "Oh my God, it's a game, don't be dramatic. Everyone relax." But nobody's laughing, nobody's relaxing. Everyone's staring at my husband. And his face has gone completely blank. Not angry, not hurt, just blank, empty, expressionless. And somehow that's more terrifying than any emotion would be. He stands up without saying a word and walks out of the room. Just leaves. Doesn't yell, doesn't make a scene, just exits. I keep drinking, pretending like everything is fine, like his reaction is just him being overdramatic, and everyone will forget about it in 10 minutes. I laugh with the group, I make jokes, I try to restart the game. But the energy is dead. Nobody wants to keep playing. People are whispering to each other, glancing toward the hallway where he disappeared. Marcus looks uncomfortable, won't make eye contact with me. The friend sitting next to me keeps giving me these meaningful looks, like I should go check on him. Everyone is acting like I committed murder, instead of completing a dare in a game we all agreed to play. After about 15 minutes of this awkward atmosphere, I get annoyed. I storm down the hallway to our bedroom, where I assume he's hiding, ready to tell him he's being ridiculous and needs to grow up. I throw open the door. "Seriously? You're sulking? Over a party kiss? In a game that you were playing too?" He's sitting on the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, hands folded. He looks up at me with those blank eyes and says, completely flat, "You chose dare. Now it's my turn." Something about the way he says it makes my stomach clench, but I'm too drunk and too defensive to really process the warning signs. I roll my eyes. "Oh, please, what are you going to do? Dare me to kiss you too? Is that going to make you feel better?" But he isn't smiling, isn't joking. He stands up slowly and walks past me back toward the living room. He walks straight to the front door, opens it wide so everyone can see the night air and the street beyond, and then he turns to me. His voice is calm, too calm, terrifyingly calm. "I dare you to move out." For a second, I genuinely think he's joking, like this is his version of playing along with the game, his way of making a point. I laugh nervously. "What?" "You heard me. I dare you to move out. Leave this house, tonight." The room has gone completely silent. Everyone's watching. "You're being ridiculous," I say. my voice getting higher. Stop it. But he's already walking toward our bedroom. I follow him, confused, starting to get scared because this doesn't feel like a joke anymore. He goes straight to the closet, pulls out my suitcase, the big one we use for long trips, and starts throwing my clothes in. Dresses, shirts, pants, just grabbing handfuls and stuffing them in. Stop! What are you doing? I try to grab the clothes back, but he keeps packing, systematically, methodically, like he's thought about this. You wanted to show everyone how little our relationship means by kissing my best friend in front of me. Fine. Now show them how little you need this house, how little you need me. It was a dare. It was a game. He doesn't respond, just keeps packing. Grabs my toiletries from the bathroom, my shoes, my charger. I'm starting to panic now. This feels real. This feels like it's actually happening. You can't kick me out of my own house. He zips the suitcase closed, picks it up, carries it past me down the hallway. I follow him, pleading now, my voice breaking. Our friends in the living room are watching in complete shock. Some of them have their phones out. They're recording this. He sets the suitcase down on the porch outside. Then he turns to me. You kissed him for a dare. So here's your dare. Make a life without me. That was 5 weeks ago. 36 days to be specific. Not that I'm counting obsessively or anything. Not that I've been spiraling through every moment of that night, trying to figure out how a stupid party game destroyed my entire life. He actually did it. He actually kicked me out and hasn't let me come back. I genuinely thought it was just a dramatic gesture that he'd cool off overnight and call me to come home. But he didn't call. He didn't text. Radio silence. I spent that first night on my friend Ashley's couch, still half drunk, still in shock. I kept checking my phone expecting to see a message. An apology for overreacting. Or at least an explanation. But there was nothing. The next morning, I drove back to our house. My key didn't work. He'd changed the locks overnight. I stood there trying it over and over, like somehow the 15th attempt would work when the first 14 didn't. Eventually, he opened the door with the chain on and told me through the crack that my stuff would be dropped off at Ashley's and I should find somewhere else to live. Then he closed the door in my face. I've been at Ashley's for 5 weeks now. Her spare room that smells like cat litter, sleeping in a single bed, all my clothes in garbage bags. This is my life now. The divorce papers came 2 weeks later, delivered by process server at my workplace, in front of everyone. My boss, co-workers, customers. They all watched. The humiliation was total and intentional. Irreconcilable differences, the papers say. Like that explains how one kiss in a party game led to the complete destruction of a 4-year marriage. I've tried to reach out to him countless times, more times than I can count at this point. I've called from different numbers because he blocked mine. I've used Ashley's phone, my work phone, random numbers from apps. He either doesn't answer or hangs up immediately when he hears my voice. I've emailed long, detailed messages explaining my side, apologizing, begging for a chance to talk. No response, not even a message-read notification. I've shown up at his work twice. Security escorted me out both times. Apparently he told them I was harassing him and to call the police if I showed up again. Me, harassing him. His wife of 4 years is now classified as a security threat at his workplace. I've sent letters to our house. Real, physical letters with stamps and everything, because I thought maybe something tangible would get through to him. I don't even know if he reads them. For all I know, he just throws them away unopened. The lack of response to anything I do is somehow worse than anger would be. If he were angry, at least I'd know he still felt something. This silence is like I don't exist at all. And Marcus. Oh God, Marcus. His former best friend who I kissed during that stupid game. He won't talk to me either. I tried to apologize, tried to explain that it wasn't my idea, that I was just completing the dare, that I never wanted to put him in that position or ruin their friendship. He sent me exactly one text message 2 days after the party, and then blocked me everywhere. Don't ever put me in that position again. You knew exactly what you were doing. Don't contact me. What I was doing? I was playing a game he was also playing. He was the one who issued the dare in the first place. How is this entire situation my fault when he's the one who dared me to kiss him? But nobody wants to talk about his responsibility. Nobody wants to acknowledge that he created the situation. It's all on me somehow. But everyone has sided with him. And I mean literally everyone. Every single mutual friend we had, every couple we used to hang out with, every person from our social circle, they've all chosen him. His phone calls get returned, his invitations get accepted. His side of the story is the one everyone believes. My calls go to voicemail. My messages get ignored. My version of events doesn't matter because I'm the one who kissed someone else, so obviously I must be the villain, regardless of context. His family has blocked me on absolutely everything. Social media, phones, email, complete blackout. These are people I spent holidays with for 4 years. His mother, who used to call me daughter. His sister, who I went shopping with. His dad, who taught me to fix a leaking faucet. All of them gone in an instant, like I was never part of their family at all. Like those 4 years meant nothing the second I made one mistake. My own family has been almost as bad. My sister, who I thought would at least be neutral, told me I made my bed and now I have to lie in it. Those exact words. No sympathy, no understanding, no acknowledgement that maybe the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Just judgment and dismissal. My mom called me crying after someone sent her the videos. Yes, videos, plural. Multiple people at that party recorded the entire thing. The kiss, his reaction, him packing my stuff, him kicking me out. All of it captured from multiple angles like it was some kind of production instead of the worst night of my life. And all of it posted online for the world to see. Mom cried on the phone asking why I would humiliate the family like this, why I couldn't just respect my marriage, what she did wrong raising me that I would behave this way. Like she's the victim here. Like her embarrassment at her book club is somehow equivalent to me losing my entire life. I tried to explain that it was a game, that everyone was drinking, that I made a mistake, but it wasn't as bad as it looks. She didn't want to hear it. She just wanted to express her disappointment. My dad won't speak to me at all. He saw the videos, saw me kiss Marcus, and that was it. Done. Finished. His own daughter, and he can't even look at me anymore. He's always been traditional, always had these firm ideas about marriage and commitment and proper behavior, and I violated all of them in 10 seconds at a party. So now I don't exist to him. I've called him 8 times in 5 weeks. He's answered 0 of them. The videos are everywhere. That's the part I can't escape. They're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, every single social media platform you can think of. Someone even made a YouTube compilation set to music. I've been viewed millions of times at this point. Literally millions of strangers have watched the worst moment of my life, the complete destruction of my marriage, me getting thrown out of my own house with everyone watching. The comments are beyond brutal. Thousands upon thousands of people, most of whom will never meet me, all united in their belief that I'm a terrible person who deserved everything that happened. She deserved it. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This is what happens when you disrespect your husband. Hope the kiss was worth it. Bet she won't do that again. Over and over, variations of the same sentiment. I'm bad, he's good, this is justice. Someone found my Instagram and sent the videos to extended family members I haven't seen in years. Cousins, aunts, uncles, people I barely know. They all got to see me at my worst. My cousin Jessica, who I haven't spoken to since we were teenagers, sent me a message saying she always knew I was trash, and she's glad my husband finally figured it out. These are people who know nothing about my life or my marriage, but they feel qualified to judge me based on a minute of video. Work has been an absolute nightmare. Everyone there saw the videos. Everyone. My boss called me into his office the day after they went viral to have an informal discussion about how my personal life was affecting my professional reputation. Not to support me or check if I was okay, to express concern that clients might recognize me from the videos and that it could reflect poorly on the company. My coworkers don't say anything to my face, but I hear the whispers. I see them looking at me differently, watching me when they think I'm not paying attention. Someone wrote "Truth or Dare" on my desk calendar in red marker. Someone else left a pack of mints on my keyboard with a note that said, "For next time, you kiss someone who's not your husband." The harassment has been constant, petty, designed to remind me every single day that everyone knows what I did and judges me for it. I reported it to HR. They did nothing, said they couldn't determine who was responsible, and that since it wasn't explicitly threatening, there wasn't much they could do. Translation: everyone thinks I deserve it, including HR, so they're not going to help me. I'm on my own. I can barely afford to survive. That's the practical reality nobody wants to talk about. I don't have access to our joint accounts anymore. He closed them and opened new ones without me. So I went from having access to both our incomes to having just mine, and my income alone isn't enough to maintain the lifestyle I was living. My credit card is maxed out. I've been using it for everything because I don't have cash. Food, gas, toiletries, basic survival necessities. And now I'm drowning in debt, paying 20% interest on charges for fast food and gas station snacks. The minimum payment is due in 3 days and I don't have it. I genuinely don't have the money to pay even the minimum. I don't know what happens when you can't make credit card payments. I guess I'm about to find out. I can't afford a lawyer. Not a good one anyway. The cheap consultation I did with some attorney I found online basically told me I don't have a case, that since the house is in his name only and we don't have kids, there's not much I can claim. He has every legal right to ask me to leave his property. I have no legal claim to a house I lived in for 4 years just because I lived there. So even if I wanted to fight him legally, which I do, I can't afford to and wouldn't win anyway. I'm completely powerless. I've started looking at apartments, but the cheapest studios in this area are still way more than I can afford, especially now that I have credit card debt and no savings. I've been looking at rooms for rent in shared houses, trying to imagine myself at 34 years old, living with random strangers, sharing a bathroom and kitchen, having roommates again like I'm 22. The decent room rentals want first month, last month, and deposit. That's 3 months' rent up front. I don't have 3 months' rent. I barely have 3 days' rent. The cheap room rentals are in terrible neighborhoods, or with people who give off really concerning vibes. I went to look at one place, and the guy showing me the room kept staring at me in a way that made my skin crawl. I left after 5 minutes and cried in my car for 20 minutes. I can barely sleep anymore. Every night I lie in Ashley's spare room staring at the ceiling, the smell of cat litter filling my nose, listening to her and her boyfriend through the walls, replaying that night over and over in my head, wondering what I could have done differently, wondering if I had just said truth instead of dare. My entire life would still be intact. One word, one choice. That's all it took to destroy everything. Sometimes I manage to fall asleep, but then I wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning in a panic, heart racing, sweating, having dreamed about that moment. In the dreams, it happens differently sometimes. Sometimes he stops me before I kiss Marcus. Sometimes I refuse the dare. Sometimes Marcus dares me to do something else. But I always wake up to the same reality. He's gone, my life is destroyed, and there's no undo button. Ashley has started making more pointed comments about my living situation. Just yesterday, she mentioned that her lease is up in 2 months and she's thinking of getting a 1-bedroom place. Translation: you need to be gone in 2 months because you're not invited to come with me. I understand. I wouldn't want me either. But that gives me 8 weeks to figure out housing with no money and no credit, and a viral video ensuring that any landlord who Googles my name will see exactly what kind of tenant I am. My therapist keeps asking me what I learned from this experience. I started seeing her 3 weeks ago, using a community mental health service that charges on a sliding scale because I obviously can't afford regular therapy rates. Every session, she asks what I learned. What I learned? Like this is a teaching moment instead of a complete life destruction. I keep telling her it was just a game, just one mistake, just a moment of poor judgment that shouldn't have resulted in this level of consequence. She keeps pushing me to examine my choices, to take responsibility, to understand his perspective. But how am I supposed to understand his perspective when his perspective is completely insane? When his response to a party game was to immediately end our marriage with zero discussion. She asked me why I kissed Marcus, really kissed him, longer than the dare required, with what she calls commitment and enthusiasm. I don't have a good answer. I was drunk. I was caught up in the moment. Everyone was watching, and I didn't want to look timid or scared. I wanted to prove I could do it. I wanted the attention. None of those are good reasons, I know that. But they're the truth. She asked me if I considered my husband's feelings before I did it. I tell her that he was sitting right there and didn't object, so I assumed it was fine. She points out that assuming silence equals consent is problematic. I tell her that he could have spoken up if he had a problem with it. She asks if I really think it's his responsibility to stop me from kissing someone else. We go in circles like this every session. I've gained probably 15 pounds. Stress eating, drinking wine at night to sleep, no energy or motivation to work out, eating whatever is cheap and easy instead of cooking healthy meals. My clothes don't fit right anymore. I avoid mirrors because I barely recognize the person staring back at me. Puffy face, dark circles under my eyes, this defeated expression that seems permanently etched into my features now. I saw him 2 weeks ago at the grocery store, and I almost had a panic attack. I was in the produce section trying to decide if I could afford fresh vegetables or if I needed to stick with frozen, and I looked up and he was there. Just standing by the apples, looking through them like it was a normal day. My heart stopped, actually stopped. I froze holding a bag of carrots, unable to move, unable to breathe, just staring at him. He looked good. Better than when we were together, actually. Like the divorce is agreeing with him. His hair was cut nicely. He was wearing clothes I hadn't seen before that actually fit him well. He looked healthy and rested and fine. And that hurt worse than anything else in that moment. Knowing that he's fine while I'm falling apart. Knowing that removing me from his life improved it. Knowing that what destroyed me completely didn't even scratch him. He walked right past me, close enough that I could have reached out and touched him, and he didn't even glance in my direction, like I was invisible, like I was just another stranger in the grocery store, like we hadn't spent 4 years building a life together. I had to leave my cart and go sit in my car for 30 minutes before I could drive. Just sat there crying in the parking lot, watching people come and go with their normal lives, wondering how I ended up here. His family is having their annual holiday party next month. I know this because his mother's assistant sent me an email 3 days ago, not an invitation. A request for property return, specifically asking me to return some family heirlooms that are technically theirs, but that I've had at the house. His grandmother's quilt, some photo albums, a serving platter that's been in the family for generations. The email was polite but cold. Professional. Like I'm a stranger, they need to retrieve items from, not someone who was part of their family for 4 years. Not someone who sat at their table for Thanksgiving and Christmas, who helped his mother cook, who listened to his father's stories, who bought birthday presents for his nieces and nephews. Just someone who has their stuff and needs to give it back. The holidays are going to be unbearable. I'll be alone. Completely, totally alone, either still at Ashley's if she hasn't kicked me out yet, or in some terrible room rental somewhere, eating takeout by myself, scrolling through social media, watching everyone else with their families, and their functional lives, their happy holiday photos, and their normal existences. Last year at this time, I was planning our holiday party, deciding what to cook, who to invite, what decorations to buy. I was happy. Or I thought I was happy. Maybe I wasn't and I just didn't know it yet. Maybe there were already cracks in the foundation that I couldn't see, but I certainly didn't think that 1 year later I'd be alone with nothing, watching my former life from the outside like a ghost. I can't date. Not that I want to, but even if I did, how would that even work? What do I tell people? Hi, I'm recently divorced because I kissed my husband's best friend during Truth or Dare, and it went viral and now millions of people think I'm a terrible person. That's not exactly an attractive dating profile. I'm damaged goods, tainted. The woman from those videos, that's my identity now forever. Men at the grocery store recognize me sometimes, from the videos. I can see it in their faces, the moment of recognition, the judgment that follows. Sometimes they say something, usually just, "I've seen you before," with this knowing look. One guy followed me to my car to tell me I deserved what I got. I've started doing my grocery shopping at weird hours when fewer people are around. Someone created a parody account on Twitter using screenshots from the video. It has more followers than my real account ever did. They post memes about me, jokes about Truth or Dare, commentary on relationship dynamics. It's supposed to be funny, I guess. People seem to think it's hilarious. I reported it, but Twitter said it doesn't violate their terms of service since it's not directly harassing me, just using publicly available images. I Googled myself last week. Biggest mistake. Page after page of articles, forum discussions, social media posts, all about me. Woman destroys marriage with one kiss. Truth or Dare gone wrong. Husband's perfect revenge against cheating wife. That last one especially bothers me because I didn't cheat. Cheating requires intent and secrecy. This was a public game that everyone consented to. But that doesn't matter. The narrative is set. There are Reddit threads debating whether his response was justified. Hundreds of comments going back and forth. Some people think he overreacted. Most people think he did exactly the right thing. A few people even wish they could do the same thing to their partners. I'm a teaching tool now. A cautionary tale. A warning to other women about what happens when you disrespect your husband. I've thought about leaving town, starting over somewhere else where nobody knows me, where the videos haven't reached, where I could rebuild without this hanging over me. But I can't afford to move. I can barely afford to stay where I am. And besides, the internet is everywhere. The videos are everywhere. There's nowhere I could go that they wouldn't eventually follow me. My boss called me in again yesterday. Another informal discussion about my performance. Apparently, I've been making mistakes at work. Missing details. Getting dates wrong. Forgetting to follow up with clients. I know I have been. I can't focus. My brain is too occupied with survival and processing trauma to properly do my job. But he doesn't care about that. He cares that my work is slipping and it's affecting the company. He didn't say it outright, but the subtext was clear. Get it together, or we'll find someone who can. I'm on unofficial probation. If my performance doesn't improve soon, I'll be out of a job too. And then what? Unemployed, homeless, divorced, notorious. That's not a combination that leads anywhere good. I've started having intrusive thoughts about that night. Obsessive replaying that I can't seem to stop. What if I had picked Truth? What if I had refused the Dare? What if I had looked at my husband first and really checked if he was okay with it? What if I had just kissed Marcus for 1 second instead of 10? What if I had never suggested playing Truth or Dare in the first place? What if we hadn't had the party at all? The therapist says, this is rumination and it's not productive, that I need to accept what happened and focus on moving forward. But how am I supposed to move forward when I don't understand how I got here? How am I supposed to accept that my life was destroyed over something that seemed so harmless in the moment? I'm angry, furious actually, underneath all the sadness and confusion. Angry at him for overreacting so extremely. Angry at Marcus for issuing that specific dare. Angry at myself for accepting it. Angry at everyone at that party for not stopping it, for recording it, for posting it online. Angry at our friends for abandoning me. Angry at my family for judging me. Angry at the internet for making it viral. Angry at the world for being so completely unforgiving. But mostly, I'm just tired. Exhausted down to my bones. Worn down by 5 weeks of trying to survive, trying to understand, trying to find a path forward when there doesn't seem to be one. Tired of waking up every day to the same nightmare. Tired of checking my phone, hoping for a message that never comes. Tired of feeling like my life is over at 34 years old. Ashley told me yesterday that her boyfriend wants to move in when they get the new place, which obviously means there's no room for me, which means I have about 6 weeks to find somewhere to live with no money, no references. Can't exactly ask my estranged husband for a reference. And a viral video that comes up whenever anyone searches my name. The panic about this is constant. It sits in my chest like a weight that never lifts. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I genuinely don't know how to fix this or move forward or rebuild. The advice everyone gives is useless. Just give him time. Time for what? To get more angry, to get more settled in his decision. 5 weeks isn't enough time. Focus on yourself. I am focused on myself, on my basic survival, on not becoming actually homeless. Everything happens for a reason. What possible reason could there be for all of this? My lawyer, the cheap one I can barely afford, says the divorce will be final in about 3 more months. Something about waiting periods and paperwork processing. 3 months feels both impossibly long and frighteningly short. Long, because I have to live like this for 3 more months. Short, because then it's officially over, and I have no idea who I'll be on the other side of it. So that's where I am. 5 weeks after one night that destroyed everything. Living in someone's spare room, drowning in debt, no family support, no friends, except one who's losing patience, a job I'm about to lose, and a viral video that follows me everywhere I go. And I still don't think I deserved this. I really, truly don't. Yes, I kissed my husband's best friend. Yes, it lasted longer than strictly necessary. Yes, maybe it looked worse than it was. Yes, I should have been more careful, more considerate, more aware of how it might affect him. But it was a game. People play truth or dare all the time. At parties, when they're drinking, when they're being social and fun and spontaneous. Drunk people do stupid stuff all the time. This happens everywhere, constantly, and most people laugh about it the next day and move on with their lives. They don't immediately end marriages. They don't kick their partners out in front of everyone. They don't refuse to ever speak to them again. He didn't have to take it so personally. He didn't have to act like I'd committed the ultimate betrayal. He didn't have to treat a drunken mistake at a party like it was equivalent to a calculated affair. He could have been hurt, yes. He could have been angry, absolutely. He could have demanded an apology and a serious conversation about boundaries. But immediately going nuclear, ending everything with zero discussion, kicking me out that same night, that was excessive. He dared me to move out specifically to embarrass me, to humiliate me as publicly and completely as possible, to make a spectacle of kicking me out like I was garbage he needed to dispose of, and recording it, letting it spread online, ensuring that millions of people would see my humiliation. That was calculated cruelty. What I did was participate in a game. What he did was deliberately destroy my entire existence. And somehow I'm the villain. But nobody wants to acknowledge that his reaction was disproportionate. Nobody wants to admit that ending a 4-year marriage with zero discussion over one drunken kiss at a party is extreme. Nobody wants to consider that maybe the punishment didn't fit the crime. Everyone just wants to focus on the kiss and pretend that justified every single thing that came after. I'm the terrible wife who kissed her husband's best friend during a party game. That's the story. That's all anyone knows or cares about. I'm the villain in a morality tale about respecting your husband. He's the hero who stood up for himself and refused to be disrespected. That's the narrative that's spread across the internet, and nothing I say will change it. So here I am, trying to figure out how to survive the next 6 weeks before I have to find somewhere else to live. Trying to keep my job despite barely being able to function. Trying to understand how one choice at one party destroyed my entire life. Trying to accept that maybe this is just how it is now and there's no fixing it. All because I chose dare instead of truth. All because I kissed Marcus for 10 seconds instead of 2. All because I didn't realize that one moment of poor judgment would cost me everything I had. My home, my marriage, my friends, my family's respect, my reputation, my dignity, my financial stability, my sense of self, everything gone. And according to everyone who's seen the videos or heard the story, I deserve all of it. Maybe I do. Maybe that's the lesson I'm supposed to learn, that actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences are so far beyond what you imagined that your entire life gets destroyed and there's nothing you can do about it. Or maybe the real lesson is that one mistake, one bad choice, one moment of not thinking things through carefully enough is all it takes to lose everything when you're dealing with someone who's been waiting for an excuse to end things anyway. I don't know anymore. All I know is that 5 weeks ago I had a life, and now I don't.